welcome everyone to our combination November-December coffee and EVs. Appreciate everyone joining. We do have a special guest speaker this evening, Mr. Cody Blankenship, who's with Appalachian Power. And we've got our normal news and other things, announcements. We'll get into those here in a bit. I did want to give Cody a chance to go ahead and get started with his presentation. And so this is being recorded, so we'll have it out on YouTube for everyone else as well. So welcome, Cody and Shannon, who's working with Cody. And Cody, if you want to share your screen, I think you have a presentation ready.
Yes, me. Is it showing up on your?
Yes, we have it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so like you were saying, my name's Cody Blankenship. I work for AEP. I am an account manager. My role is to do outreach. So I typically outreach any counties that cover the state as far as AEP is considered. I do run two programs here in the state, one being the Small Business Direct Install program. That is going to be with commercial businesses, like small commercial businesses. And then the other one being the Go Electric program. That's what this is. The Go Electric program made a little more sense with this group when I actually reached out to Taylor Mills. He's one of our trade allies. I reached out to him because I've been trying to find people who work with EV chargers. That's been kind of a struggle for me in the state. And then he told me about your all's group. So it kind of made a lot of sense for me to connect with you all. I could probably learn more from you all with EV chargers than honestly you could learn from me. So it just seemed like a good experience for me to kind of get involved with you all and just kind of get to learn a little bit more, especially with like EV chargers and kind of like what route that's going with here in the state, to say the least. But I'll go ahead and start this presentation here. As I said, my name is Cody. This is my contact information. So if during this or anytime after this presentation, if you have any questions, concerns, anything, like I said, this is my cell phone number and also my email address. Feel free to shoot me a text, email, whatever works, phone call, and I will help you out in any way with any of these programs at all. But just a little bit of an agenda today. First, we'll just go over like a safety moment. Then I'll meet the team, just to meet the team between the AEP team and the TRC team. And then I'll go over both programs. And then at the end, if you guys have any questions for me at all, I'd be happy to answer. But just a quick safety moment. Never pass a bus from behind if it stops to load and unload children. If the yellow or red lights are flashing at the stop arm is extended, traffic must stop. There are 10 feet area behind the school bus is the most dangerous for children. Stop far enough to allow them space to safely enter and exit. Be alert. Children are often unpredictable and tend to ignore hazards and take risk. Okay, and this is going to be our AEP team. So Jason Johansson is our EE and Consumers Program Coordinator. He works mostly with the SBDI program with me. Nick Bragg's going to be EE and Consumer Programs Coordinator. He does more of your home performance. So if you have anything going on at your home, I don't technically do that on my side, but I typically relay that information to Nick, and Nick gets you in the right spot with that. Then you have Jack Shepard, our EE and Consumer Programs Coordinator. He's going to be who's over Go Electric. So Jack's who I report to when it comes to anything Go Electric related. And then Mackenzie and Hannah are going to be with our marketing team with AEP. And then moving on over to our TRC team, we have Deb Hill. Deb Hill is my program manager. Then we have Fran Phillips. She's my operations manager. Peter Henson is my lead engineer. Then you have me, the commercial account manager. And then you have Courtney, Casey, and Jennifer, who are also on our marketing team. I also have Shannon, who's on the call with me on our team. I completely don't know how I missed that.
That's okay. I just started with this group, and I'm more serving Virginia at this time.
But I at least wanted to bring Shannon along the call with me, where she's newer, just kind of get the experience with the Go Electric. I know that's something she had some questions on too, so I told her just to join the call here with me. So she's also on that TRC team with me. But we'll go ahead and just go over the two programs, just a broad overview, then I'll dive into them a little bit deeper individually. I know this is very important since this group is over the whole state, and this may not apply to some people in the state. So it is important to know that you need to be an AEP customer. These are all the counties that are served with AEP. Some of the counties like Greenbrier, Monroe, Nicholas, it kind of depends where you are in the county on whether you would cover that or not. But yes, I just wanted to make sure this was presented. That way, you know whether you would apply for these rebates or not. And like I said, the two programs are running their SBDI and the Go Electric program. The SBDI program covers like lighting, kitchen equipment, refrigeration, ice machines, vending controls, HVAC, hot water heaters, and installation. With the SBDI program, we typically try to get our trade ally. Our trade allies are our contractors that know our programs really well. We try to get them involved as much as possible with these projects, but it's always down to the customer at the end of the day. If a customer wants to do that themselves, or if they want to have their own contractor come in and do the work, that's completely fine. But the one thing with the SBDI program is you have to be a commercial account, and your annual average has to be under that 200 kilowatt threshold to be able to apply for that rebate. Anything over that threshold, we don't have anything in the state yet, at least, that would be able to do that for a rebate. And then, like I said, with the Go Electric, we have incentives for heat pump water heaters, electric lawnmowers, electric trimmers, electric leaf blowers, chainsaws, e-bikes, battery chargers, and then the EV chargers. It's important to know that some of these things are for residential and commercial customers, and some of them are just strictly for residential customers. I'll go over that here in a bit just to kind of show which ones apply for what. But you would typically apply for these rebates through your retailers. And we'll start off with the Go Electric. So these are going to be our Go Electric incentives. As it says,
real quick, let me jump in here real quick, because I see some folks trying to look at the detail on the screens. We're going to be sending this presentation out, right, Cody, afterwards.
Yes.
So don't feel like you need to screen capture or jot down stuff. You'll get a copy of all this.
Yeah, I'm gonna email so to Robert so he can put that in there. That way you all can see, or I can do it. Either one works. And we can have that presentation. That way everyone can kind of break this down. And like I said, if you guys have any other questions, I can kind of go over that too. But just kind of go over these incentives. It's like it says, it cannot be more than the cost of the equipment. So if you go buy an electric leaf blower somehow for $8, you're only going to get $8 back on that incentive. But this is going to show each incentive, how much you can save on each thing. And all of these, between the electric leaf blower to the level 2 EV chargers, can be residential and commercial. Both can apply for those rebates. Whereas once you get down to the heat pumps and the heat pumps and hot water heaters, those are going to require a little more documentation. Even the level 2 EV chargers require a little more documentation with it. I'll go over that here in a second too. But yeah, this is just going to show our incentives, kind of what you can save on each item with that. And then with your actual Go Electric application, this is kind of what I was talking about before. So anything to the left here, you'll see in this middle portion, you'll see request retail rebate. So if you're requesting like an electric leaf blower, a trimmer, a chainsaw, anything on the left side here, you just hit this button on over here, the request retail rebate. And then what you'll do, you'll just go in, put a copy of your receipt, some of your general information. And then once you put in that information, it's really that easy just to kind of get a rebate on it. Then once you start going over to the level 2 EV chargers and your heat pumps and stuff like that, that's where we typically need more information with an application. For example, like with the heat pumps and things like that, we typically need you to show like your old furnace and replacing it with a new one. So there has to be just some kind of proof that you previously had like an old propane tank and you replace that with like a new electric one.
What about new construction?
What is it?
What about new construction?
New construction we cannot do. It has to be existing buildings. Now I have had circumstances where like people bought an office building that wasn't previously used, didn't have like an AEP account number attached to it anymore. I tell those people, once you get an AEP account number attached to that building again, and once you have power running back to that building, let me know, and I can typically look up those account numbers. And that goes for anyone. If there's any commercial businesses out there that are looking for rebates and you don't know if you apply for the rebate or not, as long as you give me your AEP account number, I can look that up on my end, and what I can do is see whether you apply for the rebate or not, and in just a matter of seconds. And if you do, like I said, no, contact you and let you know. But yeah, the only big difference is that between these two boxes right here is just where you apply. Like I said, it's either going to be the request for retail or start online application, depending on what you're doing. But like I said, if it's for those level 2 EV chargers, which is kind of what my goal is with this, it's going to be on that start online application process. Just an example, we just have a couple examples as far as what we've had with savings on these level 2 EV chargers. But we had one commercial customer got an incentive that covered almost 50% of the equipment cost, also saved over 36,000 kWh annually on that. And then we also had a residential customer, same thing, covered about 50% of the equipment cost, and then saved over 3,900 kWh annually. And then I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go over the SBDI briefly. I didn't want to go too deeply into that because it doesn't really apply to your, it applies to your all's group. But like I said, the main thing I know that you all focus on are those EV chargers. So I kind of wanted to focus in on that a little bit more than the SBDI program. But if you guys know commercial accounts that may be interested in this SBDI program, I at least wanted to present it out there because I do think since it's newer in the state, I still would like to get the information out there. So I'll go over this briefly. The program benefits are cost-effective energy efficiency measures to small businesses. These small business owners save money and lower energy usage. They're easy upgrades, reduce operating costs. What we can do too is I've had a lot of like churches and other businesses have me come out to their business. And as long as their business applies for the rebate, I can come out there, look at their business, look at their lights, look at their HVAC units, look at their windows. I can kind of look at everything with the business, get an idea where you can save on some energy efficiency. And that's a lot of, I've honestly been doing that a lot with church recently. Like I said, churches typically reach out to me to figure out ways in which they can cut their costs on a week-to-week basis. And then this is an important thing to know too, is there is a $25,000 annual incentive cap per account. Now, this annual incentive cap resets every year. So let's say at the end of December, this year you end up using $25,000 worth of an incentive towards your commercial building. Start of next year, you can have that $25,000 renewed again at the start of the year. So it's a physical year. It doesn't go off of like January to January, or not January to January, sorry, June to June or July to July. It's a January to January calendar year thing, but you can get up to $25,000 per account number. And equipment can be installed, like I said earlier, equipment can be installed by customer, contractor, or trade ally, whichever the business would want to go with on that. And then how to apply to this is same thing with the Go Electric. Just go to our Take Charge website. It'll take you to this the Small Business Direct Install program. Click on it, apply for the rebate. All you have to do is go in, put your AEP account number. Once you put your AEP account number, it'll take you straight to the application where you can fill it out there. If anything is ever filled out right, I feel like I've had a lot of people be hesitant on putting in applications because they don't know information with it. I tell people to send the application through. Once it's through on my side, if there's any issues, I will reach out to you via phone call, email, whatever's in the system, and I will ask any additional questions. I can fill out that information myself or however we need to get the work done. As long as I can see that you are needing something or you reach out to me, even if you don't know how to put in the application, you don't want to put in the application, send that information my way. Call me, let me know you're wanting to at least get a rebate on either one of these things, and I can help you work through that, whether that be me putting the application for you or walk through that process with you. I don't mind doing that whatsoever. And then, yeah, this is just a little bit of an overview of the two programs we went over. And for some reason, you don't want to reach out to me because you don't like me or something, there's other contact information too for AEP. This is just their generic phone number as well as their email address. And then just a a hyperlink to like what are just the Take Charge West Virginia website. I think that's it. Yeah. Any questions for me at all, guys?
I'll start off with a couple.
Okay.
All right. Regarding the EV charging, EVSEs.
Yep.
So talk a little bit more about any qualifications, restrictions. I presume those have to be new, not used.
Correct. They just have to be level 2 EV chargers. As long as they're level 2 EV chargers. Now, as far as like new or used, I don't think that matters as much. As long as you can provide proof of those level 2 EV chargers being installed in your house, and you have to just show a receipt from the contractor showing they installed that level 2 EV charger, you can get the rebate on it. Now, let's say you get a used one and it's cheaper than, like I said, what that incentive is, you would get just whatever you paid for on that incentive.
But if you picked one up off of eBay, then it would still qualify once an installer installed it and showed proof that it was installed.
Yes, and now I will say with those level 2 EV chargers, and you'll see it on the incentive guide there too. I probably should have focalized that a little bit more when I was looking at that, but it does have to be an Energy Star certified EV charger.
That was my next question. It's like what criteria governs the chargers?
Yep, it just needs to be a Energy Star certified level 2 EV charger. As long as you have that going on for you and you get that installed, like I said, we can work on getting that incentive for you.
All right, Scott, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, the question I had was, I already have a EV charger. It's not hardwired. It would just go into a plug. I don't have a 220 plug in my garage. Would the electrical work to bring the power from one side of the house and up through my garage floor qualify for a rebate? To be able to.
And you have the charger, you just don't have it directly plugged in right now, correct? Okay. So once you would get that plugged in, or once you would get that set up, because I think that's what a lot of people
the electrical work.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people struggle with is the electric work. I think just getting that set up originally. Once you would get that done, that's when you can kind of apply for the rebate once that would get installed. But there's not like a rebate for like getting the electrical work done in your house for that, if that's what you're kind of asking.
Yeah, I've already got the charger from several years ago that I actually won in a drawing. So nothing for a rebate for getting the electric to it then.
Not with the electric getting done. No, like I said, once you, let's say you had a contractor come out there and like I said, install that. Once it would get installed, you get a rebate just on the product itself.
But if I've already had,
I'll say now you said you won that in a drawing though too.
Well, I also have one that my son purchased. I actually have two of them. He'd like two of them installed in the garage. I don't think we need that. Yeah. With the one that I did purchase, although it was 3-4 years ago, that's too far back of a purchase.
Yes, so that's a great question too. So with the program, they've been a little more lenient with starting this year, and like I said, with me trying to get the word out there with it. So they're letting me go back to the beginning of the year this year, as of now. Okay. Once the new year starts, I don't know what that's going to look like, and honestly, that's a question I can ask my people. It seems like they've been pretty lenient with it, so I'd assume if since you all are just hearing about this too, like they'd probably give you a little bit of leeway on next year. Let's say I don't hear from someone till like January about an EV charger that they got installed in June of this year, July of this year, whatever the case may be. I don't think that'd be an issue as long as you could show a receipt showing you bought that piece of, and that's an important piece too, is showing that receipt that you purchased that either this year or next year.
Yeah.
Just like I said, it just has to show those years so we can have proof that it's been bought for this year or next.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then Rick, I think you were next with your hand up.
Yeah, it won't apply to me because I've been in for 8 years, but what about people that install it themselves? Do they just have a simple 2-foot run and they used it, it's up to code, but they don't have any receipts for installation? And my unit only costs $399.
Yeah.
So
You could do that. You could do self installation on it. That's not an issue at all. As long as you have a receipt showing that you purchased it, that would be fine. Honestly, that'd probably be best case scenario because you don't have to worry about the labor cost of someone else installing it. But yeah, as long as you purchase that and it's been installed and you can provide proof of that it's been installed and it's functioning, like I said, then you're good to go on it.
All right. And then Larry, I think you had your hand up as well. You're on mute too, Larry. Larry, you're on mute.
Hey, Larry, you're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry about that. My question was just like Rick's. So it's just you still get the equipment rebate even if you just plug it in or install it yourself.
Yes. As long as you buy it and like you said, you got it running up in your house, you don't have to have like some kind of contractor set up you don't have to have proof of someone setting up what kind of like with William's case. You don't have to have a proof of someone setting up the electrical work to get it all done. As long as you buy it and let's say your house is already set up for the charger to be plugged in, all you have to do is provide that receipt, show it, like I said, receipt showing this year that or next year that you purchased it, what the purchase amount was. That's the two main important pieces is how much it was and the date that it was purchased on.
And I've got one other follow-up.
Yeah.
We've been saying level 2 EV chargers. Is there a limit to it being level 2? What if it's level 1?
So level 1, we cannot do an incentive off. Now, I know that is something that is important that they've told me multiple times. I'm assuming 2. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I know those EV chargers just keep getting better and better and better as like they're evolving as time goes over too. If anything changes as far as the incentive with that too, I can let you all know. Like I say, they changed it from a level 2 EV charger to a different type of EV charger, whatever that would look like. What I can do too is definitely send you all an email, give you all an update on that. Any updates I get with this, I'm going to probably let you all know with the Go Electric portion of this in general. I'll probably let you all know, but specifically the like anything involving the EV chargers, I will definitely be giving y'all any update if anything opens up outside of like the level 2 EV chargers.
I mean, most of us I think here have level 2 chargers, but occasionally you do. Level 1 does make sense for someone.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to take some feedback back to your folks.
Yeah.
I mean, I might say to consider level 1 chargers, but maybe the amount of the rebate or the incentive is lower because it's obviously not going to use as much power. But if we're incentivizing electric trimmers and leaf blowers and things like that aren't really pulling a lot of power or using a lot of power either, a level 1 is still going to be pulling more power than those.
Good power. No, that's definitely something I can definitely bring up to them too. They're very Jack's very open-minded. We had a meeting, I want to say a month or two ago, where he kind of just talked to me about how the program was going, if I had any feedback for him and stuff like that. And I told him, even not really with the EV chargers, but I told him, like, since we're out of season with with lawnmowers, chainsaws, kind of stuff like that. I even talked to him about like snow plows for here in West Virginia. Like, they don't get as much snow down where they are compared to what we get here in West Virginia. And I said, well, I know electric snow plows are becoming a thing, especially with like battery and stuff. I said, if we can get that added to the incentive guide, I said, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially this time of the year when maybe like a lawnmower is not working, but someone has a battery for that lawnmower that they can put into like I said, a snow plow or whatever the case may be. So if you guys know of any electrical equipment or anything that you guys would think, kind of like you're saying with the level 1 EV chargers, even if you guys have any input of stuff that you think would be relevant that could benefit the program, I'm always open ears. I can always take this stuff to my team, see what they have to say, and just kind of bounce that feedback with them as well.
Okay.
I just wanted to add
go ahead, Shannon.
I just want to add to that. They may have looked at level EV1 chargers, but there has to be a threshold where the savings make sense because you're much more efficient, right? With the level 2, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, if you do any significant miles, and
Mhm.
you'd want level 2, but here's where level 1 generally comes into play.
Mhm.
It also brings up a follow-up question. Generally, where level 1 might be more of an issue is people who live in condominiums, townhouses, if they rent, and they might not have the ability to install a level 2, but
Mhm.
they can use a level 1, and so that's where some of the more interest you might see from level 1 usage is in those type of scenarios. But then that also brings up the question of what about the own versus rent kind of thing. If they purchase a charger and they plug it in, whether it's level 2 or level 1, is there any issues?
With the level 1, you wouldn't be able to, but like I said, with the level 2, you would. Now,
I mean, but does the meter need to be in their name? The power, like if it's a rental
That's
situation?
a really good question.
I see
Yeah.
what you're saying now. If they're renting, okay. If they're renting and the renter has the AEP account number with that.
That may be why they didn't put it on the program instead of
With the level 1. But even then, to be honest with you, like I actually like last week or 2 weeks ago, I actually had a customer reach out to me down in Huntington, and he lived in a townhome, and he was having issues where he was parking as far as not having like a EV charger there, and he was wanting to connect it from like the telephone or from the power pole, and then just kind of next to his parking spot where he parked because he didn't have a EV charger where he was. And to be honest with you, with people who are renting in like a townhome, I really don't know. I would have to, if I had to take a guess, and then this is just a pure guess, and I could probably give you a.
Well, say if you want to follow up on that, and
yeah, I could follow up. But if I had to take a guess with it, I'm assuming I would need to contact the whoever owns, like whoever's in charge of the place, kind of let them know what's going on, because that's kind of what I had to do with that guy. I had to reach out to his essentially landlord and be like, hey, this is what your guys wanting to get done. I would have to use your AEP account number. So I'm assuming that's kind of the same route that would go, is having to get the AEP account number from the person who actually owns the building themselves. And then once that's done, it'd probably go into the actual AEP account number or AEP. I don't know. I don't, like I said, I could follow up with a clearer answer on that, because I don't want to just sit here and just keep guessing and keep fumbling around with it.
Well, you're on our email list now, so if you get a response and you want to shoot it out to the whole group, you can just drop a note to the Google group, and then everyone will get it as a follow up.
Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I honestly could probably get an answer with that by the end of the week and let you all know.
Cody, just as a piece of data for you, somewhere between 30 and 40% of all EVs are charged on level 1.
You said 30 or 40% are all level 1?
Yes, 30 or 40% of home charging is level 1, because people find that that's adequate. You know, the average car drives 40 miles a day, and you can pick up 50 miles to charge overnight.
Okay.
On level 1.
Let me do this. I'm gonna relay some of this information too with my team, letting them know kind of like about the level 1 EV chargers, and I can ask those questions like, why aren't the level 1 EV chargers rebatable? Like, they probably know more than I do. I've been here about 6 months, so I'm still picking up a lot as I go right now. But
thank you. Could you put that where the source of that data came from in the group chat? That would be great.
Oh, geez, I just heard it last week on another Zoom call meeting we were on. So
okay,
I'll dig it up somewhere.
Thanks, Marty.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can bring that information back with them and let you all know too, maybe why the reason they're not doing level 1 EV chargers. Because, like you said, I mean, if 30 or 40% are in the household, I mean, that makes sense to me. Why?
Well, and I will, and also just as another anecdotal thing, the first 2 years that I owned an EV and I lived in Charleston.
Yeah.
I lived off of level 1, but that car was charging for 12, 13, 14 hours a day,
right,
or overnight. So I mean, it wasn't using an inconsiderate amount of power. And sometimes level 1 isn't just 12 amp or 15. I mean, you can have a 20 amp circuit on level 1, which will be pulling 16 amps. And maybe even, I think there's some adapters depending on the outlet. It can still be 120 volts, but more amps.
Oh yeah.
Depending on the plug. So Yeah, I mean, level one, it's certainly worth considering having some type of an incentive.
Rebate incentive for. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, that's the type of stuff I love hearing because, like I said, to be honest with you, as far as everything that I've with the Go Electric program, I didn't know a ton when it comes to I still don't know a ton when it comes to the EV chargers, to be honest with you. From what I've experienced here in the state, like one of my best friends has a Tesla, and I've seen his like set up at his house and stuff like that. But like when I was leaving Morgantown, they were really pushing like those EV chargers at Sheets up there and stuff like that. And when I came back down here towards like Huntington, Hurricane, and stuff like that, I don't see a ton, especially here in Hurricane. Now, if I go towards Huntington, I see some down there, and that's where I've been trying. And that's where honestly, I was trying to talk to Taylor. I was talking to Taylor Mills, and I was like, hey, would it make sense to put these EV chargers? I'm trying to reach out to commercial accounts like at like Holiday Inns or places like that. I've seen them at a couple places down in Huntington, but I don't know how fast that's moving, how much companies are willing to buy in to put in the chargers to their places. Because even when I went down to Roanoke, and visited down there, I mean, the EV chargers are everywhere. So it was a very different experience for me growing up in West Virginia and seeing what I've seen with EV chargers compared to going like down to Roanoke.
Well, so people who own EVs like us and travel, I mean, that's one of our first things. When we travel, we're looking for a hotel with an EV charger. When I go to the beach in Delaware, I'm going to a hotel that has an EV charger on the beach.
No, and I completely understand, and that's why, and it's just going to keep going that way too. So that's why I've been trying to brainstorm with my team too, as far as like target places. And like I said, hotels make the most sense to me for level 2 EV chargers because they're not going to be your 30-minute to an hour charge. They're going to take a little bit more time to charge your car. And like I said, that's where kind of hotels make more sense in my mind. So like I said, just trying to get that message out there to some of these corporate Hiltons and places like that in Huntington is kind of my goal right now with this Go.
That's great. We support that 100%.
Yeah.
Hilton has announced they're going to put EV chargers at every property.
You said Hilton's did?
Yeah, Hilton said.
Yeah, they did that 20,000 Tesla units that they're putting in.
I want to say that's the one I saw. I used Hilton as an example, but I think the Hilton is the one hotel I saw down in Huntington that I think they only had 4 though. I think they only had like 4 little stations near the park, like where the parking was out there. But from what I remember seeing in a lot of hotels when I've been in Huntington, I know here in Hurricane there's not if there is any, there's not a ton. But it's just one of those things, like you're saying, if you have an electric vehicle and you're looking for places to stay, that's a priority for you. So if I can go ahead and start that movement with a lot of these hotels around here, I do think that's very important. So that's what that's, like I said, that's one of the main things I'm trying to push is just trying to get in with these corporate heads at these hotels and motels and trying to get these EV chargers installed.
I've been staying at the Holiday Inn in South Charleston when I come down that way because they've got EV chargers right there in the parking lot.
Have you noticed any in like Charleston by chance?
Yeah, our group funded 2 chargers in the Lee Street garage.
Okay, that's in downtown Charleston, right?
Right. And South Charleston has a total of 11 that the city has funded.
Awesome. South
From
Charleston.
the library, either side of the mound. The one that Robert referenced at that hotel, the city of South Charleston. They also have them at Thomas Hospital.
Okay. Yeah, South Charleston's honestly awesome. I've worked down South Charleston for a few years prior to this job, and I don't know who the mayor is down there, but he's always on top of his game. He is always getting. I mean, he caters to his people there more than I've ever seen anyone do.
Frank Mullins is his name, and it's the Fairfield Inn in South Charleston. It has 4 level 2 chargers.
Fairfield Inn down there.
Well, and it's the Holiday Inn and I guess Fairfield. It's 2 hotels that they kind of share the parking lot, and even though it's in the hotel parking lot, they're owned by the city of South Charleston. So
okay, so is that who decides if these EV chargers go in, or is it the actual like the Hiltons and places like that who decide? Do you know?
It depends who puts up the money. We have a member of our group that's paid for 15 level 2 chargers around the state. most of them at tourist locations, such as Marlinton, the
Green Bank
Radio
Observatory.
Astrometry, Green
Yeah.
Bank, places like that. But he's kind of into that program now.
Okay.
But to your question, Cody, I think it's usually the hotel, but sometimes you see these interesting arrangements like South Charleston has. I don't think that's as common as the hotel itself funding, at least in my experience when I go to the beach in Delaware anyway. I think it's more the hotel, Now I'm sure they use incentive and programs and tax credits and whatever they can qualify for, but I think it's usually the private business that's installing them.
And that's if that's the selling feature for them too, I'm cool with it. Like, and that's why I didn't realize till honestly this past month that commercial accounts can also benefit from the EV2 chargers. I thought everything Go Electric was just residential, and then I found out more of that stuff was also for commercial businesses. So that's once I found that out, I started to try to push for like I said, hotels around here, and just trying to make sure that that's kind of just like it was whenever I went into Roanoke. Like I said, it was every single hotel it felt like in Roanoke, and I kind of would like for that to be a thing here too.
Hey, Rick, I think you got your hand up there.
I wanted to add a couple of things, if I remember them. Number one is, it used to be fairly universal that when you bought an EV, you'd get a level 1 charger included in that, so you never paid any separate amount. But so many people, as Robert said, wanted to put in level 2s that they were going and saying, don't give us the level 1, just take that $250 off the price. And then Kia started, since they could do plug in through the J port to pull the power out of the vehicle, they gave you that instead of the level 1 EVSE. But that's not, there's a lot of them now that are not giving it to you automatically. The second thing is there's a Delta hotel here in Huntington that has 8 or 10 Tesla units out behind it. But most of the hotels, it's restricted to only their customers, so they don't put it on PlugShare. So you probably find in Huntington, I can think right now of 5 hotels that have them, but wouldn't know it unless you drove around behind it, because they don't advertise they have it. They just do when you make the reservation.
Okay.
But
that may be why I haven't seen them as much too, because like I said, typically when I go to Huntington, I'm going to what used to be the old Big Sandy Superstore right there, and the Delta's right. Is that the Delta that's right beside it? Is that what that is?
No, the Delta's right here by the Huntington Mall, between the east and the west mall roads.
Okay.
And Hampton Inn has four units, one J1772 and 3 Tesla. And like I said, the Delta has 8 or 10 units, single plug units, and they're all Tesla destination chargers. And then, like I said, downtown near Pullman, that hotel there has on both sides of the street. So I think they've got at least 4, maybe 6.
Cody, here's a list of places in Hurricane, if you're curious. List of places in Hurricane that have EV chargers. The Wingate, McDonald's, Midway Ford, Meeks Rentals, and Wendy's. And Cardinal Chevrolet has one under construction.
You said Wingate was the only hotel, I think, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't think the McDonald's one's been in use for over 2 years. In fact, last time I was there, it was still on plugs, but it's taken out of the ground completely. The one that's right there by the interstate, that McDonald's, the Dunkin' Donuts does not.
Yeah, I've actually used the one at Wendy's. So
I'm about to say the one I'm right beside the one at Wendy's, so I see that one quite often. My buddy who had a Tesla, he's like, I'm on 10% going to Charleston. I said, you could stop over at Wendy's real quick if you need a quick charge or something like that. But that's the only one I really knew of around here. But just knowing that the Wingate is good for me, because there's a one off of Taze Valley. There's not a Wingate off of Taze Valley, but there's quite a few hotels off of the Taze Valley exit too that have some places there that I think would make sense. I think there's a Hilton, so I do need to check that Hilton off the Taze Valley exit as well.
All of the Hampton Inns between, I guess, Taze Valley and Huntington have 3 Tesla chargers and a J1772.
Hey, Larry, do you know if the Hampton in Hurricane does? Or
Yes,
Taze Valley? The one in Taze Valley?
Yeah, I think I think you check PlugShare. I think they're on PlugShare.
Okay, that's the one I was more curious about, was the Hampton right next to the Fat Patties right off the Taze Valley exit. There's the Hamptons right there, and then I want to say it's a Holiday Inn if you hang a left at Taze Valley, right there, like right there to the left, right beside the gas station. That's another bigger hotel I think would be ideal to check in on my side.
Yeah, PlugShare says the Hampton Inn, Winfield, Taze Valley has 4 chargers.
Where do y'all check that?
We're looking at here. Let me share my screen. We look at PlugShare.
Okay, let me unshare mine. I probably don't need to share it anymore.
Yeah, that's the best source of every available plug in it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a thing.
All right, so here's it's the website's plugshare.com. And so generally when, EV drivers are just, mapping out a route or looking for an area where they might stay, you pull this up and see, if I want to stay, here's the Hampton Inn and here's the chargers and they've got 4 of them. And is there any fees and parking and look at the reviews. When was the last time this thing was used? Is it still functional, kind of thing?
Okay. Awesome.
So
I did not know
what we're doing.
I did not. This is super helpful.
Yeah, so plugshare.com.
Okay.
And you filter on different types of plugs and rating.
Yeah, if you're looking for like level, DC fast charging or level 2s, level 1s. Sometimes a hotel might say they've got EV charging, but it's just, 120 volt outlet.
Yeah.
So, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you look at the details.
McDonald's, it doesn't have it anymore. If you're right there by where it says Wingate, if you look there, one of those 3 green ones is the McDonald's. Yeah, and if you click on that and then go down to the picture, that hasn't been, go all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, that hasn't been there in 2 years.
Okay.
Right. And I see the last time it was somebody left an update was in 2023, which is generally if there hasn't been an update in the last 6 months or so, you're pretty sure there's something wrong with it or it's not there anymore.
That's something I could even check out too. Like I said, if I don't see, for that example, like if I see something that maybe it's been a year or 2 since there's been a review, I can go check in, see what's going on with that and maybe why it quit, just to get a little more information on my end. Like I said, I'm trying to learn as much as I can with these EV chargers, with me not having a ton of as much knowledge as I'd like to have with them. So like I said, anything like this is super helpful for me.
All right. So my next question is, when do you get your EV to travel around from AEP to make these presentations and visits?
When do I get mine? Listen, they got me using my own car right now. Let's just work on me getting a company car before it's a specific kind of car.
Well, tell them you need an electric car if you're going to be
right. Tell them I need an electric car to support
What kind of liaison and rep would you be if you weren't in an electric vehicle?
See, it'd only be fitting for them to give me an electric vehicle so I can promote the
at least a plug-in hybrid. I mean,
yeah, right.
At least.
Hey, listen, I'd love it because I'm telling you, my buddy has. I took him in my car, stopped at the gas station. He's like, "Dude, this is so weird. Stopping to get gas." He's like, "Since I don't ever have to do this anymore, it's just weird stopping at a gas station anymore." And I was like, "It'd be weird for me just to stop at a Tesla station and just kind of sit there and wait for it to charge up too." So.
Wait, so have any of you owned a plug-in hybrid, or do any of you own presently a plug-in hybrid?
There's some folks in our group that have that currently own plug-in hybrids, and I know some of the folks here tonight previously owned plug-in hybrids.
Yeah, I previously owned a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid, and I will not buy a plug-in hybrid again. I don't.
Well, we wouldn't either because we done moved on to EVs, but
yeah, we're going to the better things here now.
Yep. I had my hand up, but I don't know if anyone else is ahead of me. I just want to ask a question.
No, I don't think so. Go ahead.
All right. So regarding specs, it was a very curious question, and I'm interested in why you asked that, because I have a close relative who bought a Amazon or I don't know, hopefully it wasn't Temu, whatever, level 2 charger, and it was very skeptical. It was not a good quality. And in fact, it had hazard warnings. listed for fire hazards. So could you give us some insight on export or import versus domestic level 2 EV chargers? Should we be tightening our specs on what we qualify for this program? Because not all level 2 EV chargers and not all level 1 EV chargers are the same, right?
Well, they should be UL listed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd pretty much guarantee that they're quality.
Okay. And could you mention Energy Star, but for LED lights, they have to be DLC listed, which is another tier of listing. But imports versus domestic, can you guys speak on that? I mean, there's not all quality is the same.
And it's just like anything where there's lots of knockoff and imports that you find on places like eBay and Amazon. But there are reputable quality manufacturers that have been around for many years making products. Even if they're made in another country, they're made to a certain level of quality and meet certain standards. And so, like we know that things like Clipper Creek, which was the type of charger that one of our members was buying and installing for the donations that he made.
They're gone.
Well, somebody else bought them. I think they merged into somebody else. I forget the name of the new company.
Blink.
Okay. So Clipper Creek, Blink, Grizzle E, I think is another one that's fairly well represented. We could probably come up with a sort of a list, but they do change a lot, and there are some manufacturers that are better represented than others. Probably one of the biggest ones, though, is Tesla itself. But I don't believe that they have the Energy Star certification the last time I heard.
Yeah, Rick had something.
Well, yeah, I have a Siemens, which has never failed in 8 years. So there's a lot of, in one of my talks, I have a list of the 152 manufacturers of EVSE. But if there's a reputable, they don't have to be American or local, but it has to be, a name you could recognize. Siemens, if you're in, or Lincoln Electric, if you're in those, you know it. But as Marty said, they're mostly in adapters, but also in EVSE. There's a whole bunch of foreign knockoffs that aren't worth what the plug is worth.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the Wang Chung charger special is not going to be probably what you want.
Maybe
hey guys,
do you recommend us tightening our specs around that?
Yeah,
I would suggest make sure they're UL listed. They have to be UL listed.
That's the one. UL listed.
Yeah.
Taylor, did you have something you were going to add on that? Because I know you come from the electrical background. You may have some specific.
Yeah, I have a small opinion on EV chargers. So Clipper Creek has been bought by Enphase Energy, which is a very well known, probably the most popular solar inverter manufacturer in the U.S. right now. They have, I believe it's an all U.S. based company that they do all their, I believe most all their manufacturing in the U.S. as well. But they had procured Clipper Creek, and I've actually installed the Enphase versions of the Clipper Creek product, and for the most part, they remain unchanged. They have added some, whereas Clipper Creek were known for just being, for lack of a better term, a dumb charger. They didn't have any Wi-Fi capabilities and things. So Enphase has added that, and then they've also have added in that you can do like I can't think of the term, but basically like smart charging with your solar system. So through the way of current transformers, it will allow you to charge only from excess solar, rather than letting the power go back to the grid. It'll charge your car with that extra power. And for folks that's like on Mon Power that doesn't get the one-to-one net metering anymore, that product can offer them the ability to increase their self-consumption. But I can echo what the other guys have said. UL listed is important. I have a Grizzly Dual, which is not UL listed, and it's worked great. But Grizzly has other UL listed products, but I don't think they've got their dual charger UL listed yet. So.
Wow, great information. Thanks so much for the links too that are being sent out.
Yeah, so the Clipper Creek or In-Phase product now, they're known for being very rugged, and I can agree with that. I have one there at my mini storage facility, and of all the chargers I've installed, they're definitely very rugged. However, I believe as far as affordability and capability, the Tesla chargers are my favorite. They are glass based, so that's not the greatest, but I think you can get them for $450 like that, and they can do up to, I think, 48 amps, right? So that's like the best value on the market, and you can get them with the J1772 or the Tesla plug. So
I was gonna, and I don't know how much control you guys have over that, but that might be some more feedback, as I don't know if there's a way to have the Tesla chargers included, because they are a very popular product and they're one of the more affordable options. And they have some really interesting features like the universal, which is what Hilton was buying, by the way. Those 20,000 chargers that Hilton was buying for their properties were Tesla universal chargers, because they can charge both Tesla vehicles and non-Tesla vehicles with the same charger with no adapter. The same charger has both. It has both connectors that you can use. So it is really a popular product.
nice.
So just throwing that out there. I know some other folks have dropped some things in, but yeah, ChargePoint, Grizzly, Emporia, Clipper Creek, whatever they become now, In-Phase, UL or ETL listed for safety. It's just going to be hard to say a hard and fast like list though, because they do change frequently.
Mm-hmm.
One additional thing I was going to say is some are more designed for being inside in a garage, and others are more meant to be outdoors. So
yeah, indoor and outdoor rated.
That's what he's saying.
So
I just if someone put an inside one outside, it's not going to last very long.
Okay.
I just did a Google search, and the Google says that Tesla is now Energy Star certified.
It is, isn't it? Okay, good.
Yeah, that wasn't true a year ago.
So that's the last time I heard they were not. Okay, well, great. Then Tesla would qualify for these incentives for those who want to use Tesla products.
Thanks.
All right, I know we're getting close to the end of our hour, and I didn't know we'd spend so much time on it, but it's been a great discussion, and I appreciate it, and lots of great information. Any last follow-up questions for Cody or Shannon?
I was just going to make one comment. Our church put solar panels on, Cody, and we worked with your commercial division on getting the net metering because we had two accounts, and it took some time because it was a little complicated, but they got it resolved to our satisfaction. So kudos to AEP for taking care of that.
Awesome. I love hearing it.
Okay,
I love hearing
you guys need to
things.
hear the good stuff, because I'm sure you hear enough grief at
Listen,
times.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't personally hear it on my end unless I go to like corporate, or unless I go to like events where I'm doing more of the home performance stuff. I hear a lot of people then, so it is nice to hear some positive comments, to say the least. I'm glad they did well for you, though.
There's a lot of people here that like electricity.
Yeah, that's what we're working for here.
All right, Rick, go ahead.
There's two quick things. Cody probably already knows, but Tesla now has an education center in the Huntington Mall with free test drives on the Model 3, the Model Y, and soon to be the Cybertruck. So I took a 2026 Model Y on a test drive. They show you the full self-driving, and then you have 45 minutes to drive it all around the town if you want to. So that was pretty cool.
That's in the Huntington Mall, right?
Chat box, the 94 manufacturers of EVSE that I have updated in my one of my 6 talks. There's more there. I'll just put in the first 94.
And actually, Rick said something that makes me think of something else there, Cody. You're looking for folks to, like, of course, I'm sure, spread the word about this program and make sure people are aware of it. Have you worked with any of the actual car dealers or like the Tesla Education Center store? Because every EV or plug-in hybrid they sell, I mean, they need to be telling folks that this is a program that's available.
No, I didn't even know that was a thing at the Huntington Mall. So I'm down in the Huntington area. My family's from the Barbersville area, so like I can stop down there if that's a thing and definitely let them know about the program.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you've got flyers or whatever you have, or just to point people to the site. But then also not just Tesla, but any of the other major brands that sell EVs. Those dealers let them know.
Right by the Macy's doors.
Right by the Macy's doors, you said?
Got a big white Model Y there. You can't
I feel
miss
like I know where it is. I feel like I know where it is.
Jeff has a comment.
Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say thanks, Dr. Walker, for pointing that out. I stopped in there, and it's a very knowledgeable group they have. And I would advise everyone, even if you're not looking to buy a Tesla, stop in there. I think all the checkpoints that we can get to go through that service center, the more it will encourage Tesla to maintain that service center there. And that's a presence that is much needed down here in Huntington. So thanks for letting me know about it. I'm not in the mall very often. So thank you, Rick.
Yeah, I'll definitely
we'll probably have EVs in January indoors there at the mall at the Tesla place. We'll all get a coffee from Daily Grind or whatever, and we'll go hang around the Model Y and talk about it. The two guys, I've met all the people that are manning the booth. Two of them have no EV knowledge whatsoever. He says, I've only been reading about it for 1 week. So he didn't know AC from DC charging. They're learning, and they have a lot of Tesla supplied videos that they're going through when there's no customers there to talk. So they're getting better, but they still have a long ways to go. But I thought we might have a coffee and EVs there in January.
That'd be great.
Maybe that's a post-retirement job for us there, Rick.
and Cody, one last thing, Tesla's trying to get full self-driving people that already have ones that are capable of it. So for 40 days from around Thanksgiving to past Christmas, they're giving everybody a 40-day trial of it for free to try and get hooked on it. Pay for it.
Yeah, I'll definitely, like I said, I need to check it out. I'm at the mall too much, to be honest with you, with the kids now. Want to go to Dave & Buster's, so I'm down there all the time anyway. So I'm definitely down. Rick, are they there all the time, like to help out with questions, or they're only on certain days?
They man it every day of the week. And,
okay. I just didn't know if there was like a certain day I needed to stop by or anything like that with it.
Now the mall is open for people to walk around at 9 or 8, but it's not really. The stores aren't open until 10, so the Tesla booth opens at 10 also.
Yeah, I plan on going once things kind of open up there and things.
I did have a couple quick things I wanted to share before we close out. I don't know if folks saw this, but just a nod to the past that there was a GM EV1 that was saved, and they're going to make it drivable again.
What year is that?
I mean, that would be 1996, 97, somewhere along. God. So they scrapped all these and crushed all of them. This one survived through some weird circumstances. It doesn't have some of the components in it, and they found out that the old GM, the Chevy S10 electric that they made for a brief while in the 90s as well, shared some components with the EV1, so they're cannibalizing some old Chevy S10 electric vehicles for parts, and they're going to put a brand new LFP battery in it. And some other stuff to get it roadworthy again. Their goal is to have it driving by this time November 2026. So I think that it's kind of a neat nod to the early EV era. The early modern EV era. So that's pretty neat.
That is neat.
The other thing I was going to mention that the last major car manufacturer who had not committed to NACS in the U.S. finally committed. So Stellantis is officially adopting the NACS plug for all of their electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids. The interesting thing was, because some of the other manufacturers didn't do this, they're doing it globally. So it's not just going to be NACS in North America. They're using NACS in other markets. like South Korea and Japan. So it's kind of interesting that they're using it outside of North America as well.
Except
So
for
all of the EV manufacturers in the U.S. are now committed to the NACS plug, and that's all I had for that. So let me.
I'll definitely second the chunky CCS. When we used it in Ireland, it's definitely a lot less convenient than the NACS.
I have one more comment. We're still looking for officers for next year.
Oh, thank you, Marty. That's another thing I needed to mention. We do have nominations running for officers for next year. That is wrapping up at the end of, I think it's next week. So I'll send out a reminder when I send out the recording for this video. But please, folks, do think about serving for a year as one of the officers. I sent out a note a few weeks ago with the roles and kind of some generic duties of those roles. But I'll send that out again as well. But yeah, please do think about that and consider stepping up and serving as an officer.
Hey guys, I don't want to take too much time. I just had one more question. I know you all mentioned the manufacturers. That's one of the biggest things I've had troubles with finding around here, are finding the car dealerships that sell some of these electrical vehicles. Do you guys have any? Do you guys know of any around? The only place I could think of that would even sell like Teslas, for example, is the place up in Southridge. I can't even think of what it's called, but there's the one that they sell more exotic cars up there, and I've seen it up there, but I haven't seen like a ton of.
Well, pretty much all the manufacturers that build EVs have got a presence here. I mean, like Hyundai and Kia, and Chevrolet and Ford,
Subaru,
Stellantis,
Cadillac.
I worded that poorly. It was more like Tesla specific.
Like, Tesla specific. Well, no, Tesla is, I mean, Tesla doesn't have franchises, so they don't have dealers. They only have stores, and only Tesla runs those stores. So like the store in the Barboursville Mall is the only Tesla store location that they have in that area. There's another one in Morgantown, but that's not really in your coverage area. Otherwise, you go to Cincinnati or Cincinnati or Columbus. Or
we should point out that's not a store. You can't buy a Tesla there. You can only test drive.
You can't.
It's just like an
it's illegal for Tesla to sell cars in West Virginia.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I knew that.
Crazy.
That's why I was curious. Okay.
I mean,
what was that, Shannon?
No, is that? I mean, how do you guys feel about that? I'm new to this. I'm new to this group. I'm just curious how you feel about that.
Oh, I mean, we've opposed that, and it's terrible, and it's a terrible look for West Virginia. But West Virginia, to be fair, West Virginia is not the only state that has that problem. It's basically you've got a very powerful and wealthy dealer association lobby who wants to prevent anything from intruding on their bread and butter. So they have a pseudo monopoly in the state, and they want to keep it, and they make sure the politicians that they lobby for keep it that way. And it's not just a Tesla thing either, though. It's not a Tesla thing. It's a direct sales thing. If a manufacturer decides that they want to sell the vehicles directly to consumers, direct to consumer, then dealers have a problem with that because they're getting cut out of the action. So it's Tesla, it's Lucid, it's Rivian, it's any other manufacturer who wants to sell direct to consumers.
I just want to mention that I went to a water conference recently, and they talked about the silver tsunami of people leaving industry, and I see this, and don't take offense because I'm part of the silver tsunami, maybe not too many years, and the wealth of information and resources you guys have given us on this call is phenomenal. I appreciate it, and we will probably never experience it in our generation. So Cody, take advantage of this group because they are so helpful and resourceful and just amazing resources for you. Thank you guys so much for all the, I mean, you've given us more information and insight in 1 hour than we've gotten probably in a whole year. So
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
really we appreciate that, and Cody, we'll keep you guys in mind, and if we're doing events down your way, which we do occasionally, in-person events, whether it's just for our group or sometimes it's a public event like Drive Electric Earth Day or Drive Electric Earth Month, which are national events, or sometimes we do car shows and different things. So we'll make sure you guys are aware when we send it out on the list, and if you want to show up and make yourself present and talk to folks, and it's always a good way to meet the public and promote your program.
Yep.
And William,
I was going to say, we've had AEP people on the home energy efficiency side come to our EV car shows, like at the South Charleston Library one year.
mm-hmm.
And you two and any of your other folks are welcome to drop on this call anytime, sign up for when our meetings are.
Yeah, I probably will.
Is that a separate call?
No, this is our Coffee and EVs monthly call, and Cody's now on our group list, so he'll get notifications when we're having these.
But I think Scott was referring to the live things like Drive Electric.
Oh, yeah.
And then
We'll send out notifications on the group email list for those as well in advance, so that you guys are aware.
Yeah, we usually have 2 or 3 of these a year in various parts of the state: Parkersburg, Martinsburg, Huntington, Charleston.
We'll do Barkersville again next year. That was a great show, and I thank Marty and everybody. We had 9 EVs there and lots of questions. So when the Airborne 82nd
Airborne, yeah,
we'll join them again this year.
Yeah, anything near my way between, honestly, Charleston and Huntington that you all have going on, I'd love to be a part of.
That's great. All right, guys, we're about 10 after 8, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Cody and Shannon, for joining.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. It was great. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody. Our next meeting will be in January. Coffee and EVs will be, let me check my calendar. It'll be combo, our members meeting, Coffee EVs, on January 20th. And I'll send that out.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks again, everyone.
Same time, same EV channel.
All right. Thanks, everyone.